Hello? Okay, this is better. Well, I'll have to step back a little bit. A few minutes to step back and say where. Hello? Yeah. To step back and say where did this get conceptualized? It's one of those rare cases where I actually believe that dare to dream. So this was a event which probably I had conceptualized about 4 years back, or 4 or 5 years back. That this is how my 50th birthday is going to be. That time it was just a talk. But over many years and months, it's conceptualized to a very different angle and different point of view. And today it's come to a point where I thought, what have I learned from my 50 years? And this is an event which I had to celebrate, saying that, look, high time I did what I did in terms of celebrating your life in my journey, because this is exactly why I am who I am. And this is what makes the difference. So I'll start that storyline with that note. Next one. Well, about us. I mean, like I just mentioned, I mean, you guys mean the world to me. Anybody present out here today in physical form, having made it across Bangalore, which itself is a distance, across countries, and across beyond India. I mean, whoever made it, thank you so much for doing that. And all the people who are not here, but also are a part of the story. And some people whom we would love to have. So a big thank you to everybody from the bottom of my heart for being a part of my life. Well, you'll have to bear with me for some time for the next couple, whatever, 45 minutes, Colin. I'm not going to go on. But yeah, I mean, this has been a work in progress from the last, I think, 4 or 5 weeks. And this is a culmination of all my thoughts, my memories. So pardon me, and as a disclaimer, forgive if I missed out somebody in specific, some memories. So this is an event dedicated, conceptualized, only for you guys. So I would like it to be a dialogue and not a monologue in terms of what my memories are. I'm trying to share to the best of my capabilities, realizing that I don't have a great memory. And I would love all of you to share your bit of the memories while we go through this, so it becomes more interactive in terms of what your memories of me are, to some extent where I forgot my own classmates. So bear with me on that. The other point, I think we've had some sleepless nights in the last couple of weeks. Me, Sarah, and Vijay, the only job that I did to get a context to this was just scanning some 7,000 photographs from the first year of my life to the 50th year. And I just dumped it on the slides. And then Vijay took it on, and she did her magic. And then later on, Sarah took it on, and she did her magic. So thanks to the two of you. What you see now is a result of their efforts. So this, I'm going to just see what they've done and just go on with that now, with that flow. So to begin a little bit from the past, this is my mom and dad. Their journey started probably, and this is their wedding anniversary, wedding card, which was very safely kept by my mom. So my mom had this unique ability of storing photographs and making a note of every event of her life. Maybe that's why this is where it's coming from. That's my mom when she was a kid, and that's my dad when he was a kid. This was in the year 1964. Next one. Now, no, where are those? Where am I missing the eldest one? The elder one? Oh, there. so that's Raju Prashant, and this is Sanju Amol. So this is the eldest. This is the next one. This is where the process or the story begins before I came into this whole life of mine. And the snap with Sanju is one of my favorite of my mom's, in a complete 9-yard sari Maharashtrian woman. I mean, she looked absolutely amazing and stunning. This is where I come in. So this is me when I was a kid, and I didn't realize that I had curly hairs when I was young. And today when I see myself, I realize where it comes from. And it comes like a full life story in terms of getting my curly hairs back. And this is the trio, or the journey of the trio which begins. Yeah. So me butting in between the two, and that's where our journey of the three of us as trio begin. And this is where it all starts in terms of where we were and how we started this journey, and we've always been there. This was featured. This, my first love, if I were to put it in any other different ways, if these three photographs can capture anything, it's basically that. Completely with her, just stuck with her like a leech all through my journey. Always. I mean, the women out here will tell them the story in terms of where I was always with her. And I think the majority of who I am and what I am goes to her. These are the extended families who are sitting out here, starting the journey of my life when I was born, or rather before I was born. These were the families that we grew up with. The Dhimans, the Samas, and the Sharmas. I mean, this was our life. So this is capturing our moments back then, and I don't know who, but whom should we thank for these photographs? Either Dad?
Yeah, Kuldeep.
Okay. So we had this amazing collection of all these snaps from the past, and I don't know if it is because of Dad or how it came about, but then there are these beautiful memories which have been captured. And in the last 4 weeks, while I was writing this whole 50 years of my journey, I think these last 4 weeks have been some of the best days of my life, reflecting every day from the start, and that's when this whole story starts. Where it's all out here. There's Mamta here, there's Poonam here, there's Rajesh, Billu, everybody. Next. This is another capture of the gang of those days in terms of where we were and how we look today. So this is a very classic snap of Billu and Sama while they were kids. And that story kind of reflects till date, where literally every month we still catch up, and it's still this three trio, where they still have the parties, the Palyam gang, is how to put it that way. Palyam was the area where we stayed. No. The TV tower which exists today was the whole Palyam area. And before the TV tower happened, it was just one big plain land. I think our whole childhood was just in the grounds, hardly at home, because we just stayed bang opposite to the ground. This is this woman out here. So I think my whole childhood was with her.
Yeah, very true.
I just was there with her. I have no idea, but she just took me everywhere she went. I hardly remember being there anywhere.
Not only took you everywhere, she cleaned your potty also. She was very fond of that.
So storyline for this is from this age to probably about this age, I just hung around with her, going out wherever she went. And I think one of the way I reflect back my 50 years, before probably meeting Vijaya, I could never fall in love. I had a broken heart at a very young age. Why? Because the incident there goes that probably at this age, I don't know which year, she got married. And I think that was the biggest disappointment of my life. And the way I heard the story is that because when she got married to a South Indian and he was wearing a lungi. And my big gross was if she had to get married to a guy in lungi, I would have worn the lungi. Why did she have to get married to him? And I think, either I was upset and I think cried enough. So I think I went as a Dahej to her. And I think I stayed with her for the first couple of days in her house because I couldn't handle my heartbreak. Well, this continues in terms of the families, the way it went on, all our memories with them. The Sharmas here, the uncle and auntie. I mean, I think auntie was the only one who tied Rakhi to dad, if I remember right. And from there, the whole story of the Raksha Bandhan started with Titu being there and Bobby being there. And the whole family somewhere completed us, where I don't know if we just stayed at home or we just shifted, I think all three of us, me, Raju and Sanju, we were just shifting between these three houses and somebody fed us. Mom had no clue. I mean, she was teaching in school and whenever she came home, we were all fed and we were all happy, or either sleeping in somebody's houses. This was another family which makes a difference to our life, the Peters family. They are in Mumbai. And they played an important role in my life in some ways, which I'll probably come about in that storyline. And they were just some kind of a driving force besides the three families which are there with us. And I found uncle extremely handsome. I mean, he was my first impression of somebody from the corporate world. Absolutely handsome, articulate, and an amazing guy. Sunil was probably my first friend in my journey of my life, whom I made, was our neighbor. And these are some of the people that I extremely feel proud about, where the journey has been for the last 50 years. Probably from the first, I think we were born together somewhere close, or I think we were 1 year old. So that's where our journey starts. Until date, we still go strong. And these are different phases. So we used to hang around in our homes, and he was just there. And this is the adult version of Sunil. His wife and his 2 kids. My kakas, the trio, my brother, my dad, his brothers, the elder and the eldest. And when we look at them, I mean, for me, I think they were an institution of their own kind, and somewhere I believe that there is a strong pole gene that we call, gets transferred from them. I mean, they were something. I mean, each one was a character of their own self, extremely distinct. And the amount of fun that they had was something that probably we learned from them. These were the pets over the years. So in terms of the sequence, this Laika, she was our first dog. She was probably Raju's first love. I mean, he would just do anything for her, and she was just so kind to him. This guy, Sony, was Sanju's. I mean, only Sanju could handle him. I mean, there's nobody else who could handle him. He was extremely ferocious. And the third one probably was mine, Chiku. In terms of just not being the pets, I think, which I keep telling Sarah, I think one of my key characteristics comes from Laika, or the dogs that we had. I think it was good that I had these pets in my childhood, because one of my most fundamental foundations came from the fact of being absolutely unconditional. I mean, I probably understood from this dog. I mean, they were just there. They sensed everything. They were there in your good, bad, any situation. They just knew it. I mean, probably, so that is one of my biggest influences that I've had from her. The cat was just an extra fitting. We were not the cat people. Memories from school days. This is the most amazing part, when your own mom is your class teacher. I mean, it's one hell of a story there. So there, if you can see a tick, so that's me, and I don't know if Timia is already here. No, if Timia is not here. So Timia he was probably my first friends in school. So he was a classmate of mine. So he and me used to play the fool around, and then mom used to either run around and try to be very strict with me, because I'm the student right now and not the son. So that was that 1 year. KV Hebbal. Well, just going back to that one. So some of the stories out here of mom being in the same school where all the three kids study is one hell of a story. Because Raju was right there. He was the topper and the captains and everything. And me and Sanju used to probably get stuck in all possible situations. And every time we got punished, the logic was simple. Go call your mom. And then go hunt the whole school. Where is mom teaching? And then get her from the class and she said, now what happened? And say, okay, now this is what has happened. Otherwise, she'll see us kneeling down out of the class. And she's walking in front of us somewhere. And she will just look away and just walk away from somewhere. Saying that, okay, somewhere something has gone wrong here. So yeah. Next one. So there the entry of Mr. Kumar, Vijay Gopur Kumaran there, sitting in the black shirt there. So our journey starts there with a trio, me, Kumar and Sriram. And these are a couple of friends from my school who have played an integral part at different stages. I think the chronological order was, if you're in the C section, you're the nonsense type, you're the wasted types. The C and D sections are all wasted ones. So I think somewhere in 7th standard, I think mom wanted to help me, so she got me shifted to the A class, and that's when I met a couple of other friends of mine. And that's the gang of friends that I had in school, probably 6, that's about it. But then our journey of me and Kumar starts way back, and here we are, going strong till date. Well, there is so much that I can speak about him. I mean, I think he's one guy who has seen literally every phase of my life. If you need to meet, you need to see him. And he'll tell you exactly where the journey comes from and what all we have gone through. And he's just been there. To an extent that I used to always think that we are the shadows. That we were always together, and it remains till date. That's Sriram, who was the other guy who we met. And this is a photograph 35 years later. We just met about a week back. So this is a photograph then in school days and after 35 years. Then comes a very important phase of the Jamils, our neighbors. And this was a family, if I understand correctly, was the reason why we probably shifted to the next house. Because I think they forced mom and dad to move out of Parliament and say, just start building the house. And that's when we came. And that's where this girl in my life comes. Guddu. And she's been an integral part from that phase on. And she's my sister. And probably, I guess it was the sister which we were not having was where she filled that gap in some ways, in many ways, if you have to put it that way. And we are there. Thank you. Go back one slide. So there is a storyline with her also. She's also apparently one of the first witnesses of being a catalyst to one of our love letters that I got. And from a girl up the road during my college days. And that incident, if I remember right, was I think when a friend of mine from college, Jagan, had come over to stay. And I get up one morning, I had the letter. I mean, I got the letter and I had put it in my pant or something like that. And I get up next day morning, mom has gone to school. I still have that very vague memory. I think I was ironing my shirt or something. Suddenly Raju says, mom saw the letter. I said, what letter? She said, the letter in the pocket. I said, oh God. And then, so things just settled out there. So, but yeah, that was one incident where she was an extremely important part in that whole journey there. I guess these were the sisters which I had over the years, starting from Vibha, and then you had Nirmal, and then you had Naveen. Nirmal became our neighbor much later during our journey. Naveen was the daughter of my mom's friend from school, and I don't know where and how it comes from, but I had this unique ability of making sisters. And for a long time, I don't know, I think people had a perception, if this guy is around, we should just try Rakhi to him. He's not the boyfriend material type. So I had enough and more sisters happening all the time. And I used to love wearing those Rakhis and going to school. The number of Rakhis in my hand, the more the better. This was the era of the pre-university in terms of my 2 years, and this is the gang of guys I had then. Uh, that phase was, with these guys, was just about going in from school uniforms and the strict rules of school and breaking it out into the pre-college level. And so that's why the fun times of college, we could wear colored dress and bunk classes. I mean, that was the fun part of it all. And Inder out there in the red t-shirt was the guy who first taught me by bike. I mean, my first bike was through him, a Yamaha. Jennifer, where's Jennifer? There. Now, that girl was probably the first friend who was a girl whom I ever made, because in school, I never spoke to girls. It was an absolute no-no to talk to girls. So in college, I think Jennifer was the first girl that I met. And if I remember right, and she sent me these letters which I had sent to her during those days, and that was the age of post office, or whatever, writing letters and sending postcards. And this was one of those days where I used to make Christmas cards and actually sell to make pocket money. So I used to have a lot of pocket money, cleaning garden, cleaning the bikes, cleaning cycle. So I used to make a lot of pocket money through that. Sorry? Old newspaper, yes, another one, yes. So I was pretty rich in my school days making money like this. So I used to sell these cards for some $5 or $10, and mom used to take it to school for Christmas and New Year's. Entry of Jennifer, the way I remember of college, was absolutely stunning. Because this girl comes with her cousin in a sports bike back then. And two girls on a bike coming into the college was a sight. I think everybody's jaws dropped. And they were wondering who this girl comes on a bike. And I don't know how we got chatting. I don't remember that thing. But yeah, I think that journey started then. We stayed in touch from then on, just writing letters. We hardly met because she had already moved out. And this is my journey with Jennifer all these years. No, more. This was some of my takes in terms of getting into the pre-university, and what I felt was this whole learning between childhood to pre-university, because probably that is what I would call the first phase of our journeys before I went into engineering. So the way I understand and recollect in the last 3 or 4 weeks in terms of how this 50 years went of my childhood was all about this absolute love, admiration, and pampering from all these people. This whole set of slides that you saw. So somewhere there, my foundation was laid, that I was only pampered, loved unconditionally, and just taken care of. And that becomes somewhere my base to probably who I am today. And every stage I realized that this journey has been important because of these people, and that is why I have become the way I am, because these people set the foundation right for me. The love, the affection, the fun with my friends, or making the friends whom I didn't know will go on to this journey to my life. I think that's where the base somewhere comes in. Mom's friends, they were an integral part of our lives. This was probably the first snap, the black and white snap, where she started her journey going to Yelahanka, KV Yelahanka somewhere. And there you had all these teachers with her. And these were her core in terms of her friends that she had. And to mention here, this is Umamis. Umamis somewhere came into my life somewhere in the 6th standard, and I think she was probably the first woman where I think all thanks to my mom, where she let me explore the relationships that I make. She understood that there is nothing called a bonded relationship, that brothers, sisters, and there is no relationship outside. So somewhere I got extremely close to her, and she used to take care of me as a son, to a point where I started staying in her house. And then she started actually teaching me. She started teaching me, and then somewhere we became very close. And then it came to a point that I actually started calling her my foster mom. So I had this mom, and I had her as a foster mom. So she took care of me completely from 7 to 8. And the story there again, she was supposed to relocate to DRDO, just next to our office, just next to Bagone Tech Park. And there she was supposed to relocate because her husband was working in C.V. Raman there. And when I got to know the news that she was relocating, as usual, again, I just couldn't handle it. And she just postponed that whole shift for a year. She said, okay, you finish your 9th and then I'll relocate. I mean, so when you go back and reflect and see this love and affection and admiration or this bond, I mean, you just start believing that, yeah, I mean, this is where I come from, or this is what makes me who I am. This is where the story of my other sense, the other two girls who came into my life very early, in terms of probably the first year. Here is Anju, and other one was Papu. And they were like family, like I didn't have a choice. Because I think all the three mothers got pregnant, and I think at different points in time we three were born. And so then our journey as a trio started, and we just remained there at different points, met, came to Mysore to meet her because she studied in Mysore, and somehow managed to keep in touch by writing letters. I mean, so letter writing was one big gift from my mom, because I guess for the relatives who are here, I mean, they are the absolute proof that if the connections were kept in our house, it was all through mom. She just went on writing letters and letters and letters, whether she met anybody, didn't meet anybody. But I think all our connections with our relatives today is all thanks to mom. And somewhere there came the habit of writing letters. So when I used to go to hostel, she used to give me this whole katte of inland letters. And I used to keep sitting and writing every month to everybody. So I don't know if I have some of Kumar's also, and sending letters to Kumar and Anju. So these are some of the memories captured along the way till date with Saroja Miss and with my foster mom. This was, we used to call her Amma. I mean, she was a help in our house who just took care of me like another kid. As usual, lot of love, lot of affection. One of the key reasons why I never ate veg. No matter what was cooked at home, she always made an omelette and gave me. And when her mom used to say, why don't you give it to him, leave it. He'll not eat veg, let him have an omelette. To the extent of the closeness, I used to actually go and ask for pocket money. Amma kuch paisa dena. And then she used to give me the pocket money. So this is the story of her life. And much later, we will come to that point as well. So her daughter then came into our lives and started taking care of Sarah, only for this reason that my mom took care of you, so your daughter I will take care of. And that was the reason she came to our lives. So here comes the episode of Malnad College. So Nalluri Sridhar comes here. So first day of my college, while I was going to the hostel, was where Mr. G.R. Srinivas comes into the picture. We were midway to the college, and then I think he's a senior, and he thinks I'm a senior. Because I had this big mustache. So I couldn't just pass away as a first-year student. And we probably met first there, and then I land in the hostel. And Sina and Raju dropped me to the hostel out there, first day, take me to the canteen. And I had no clue what it meant. But then I realized later, much later, that his only advice to me in the canteen was, don't talk to girls. Because Hassan was notorious for this issue that a local had all the rights on the girls. If anybody saw anybody talking to a girl, he got thrashed. Not even spoken. He just got thrashed left, right, and center. So we were advised not to speak, but I don't know if it held well. Sorry? Yeah, I don't think so. It held on for too long. The first year was somewhere taken care. Me and Uday were, a friend of mine, Uday was out here. But the guy opening his eyes wide and with a big smile is there, Nalluri Sridhar. And he was my senior in college. And for some reason, I don't recollect why, but they just took us on as juniors. And they just took care of us for the whole first year. I mean, wherever we went. Thanks to you for that. So we were like very safe. We were loitering around with the seniors. And one episode during the initial days of college was during that phase of ragging sessions. And every time we were called by somebody, be it the engineering or any other group, the minute they used to ask, what's my name? And I used to say, Ajay Pol. Polena, Prashant Pol's brother. I said, yes. Ilva. So there was no ragging for me because Prashant Pol was a big deal out there. And I avoided all the sessions of getting ragged because Mr. Prashant Pol was a big shot and nobody could touch Ajay Pol. I mean, so half my ragging just went away because of just the name Pol. So these were, this was probably the start of a gang that we formed during college. Very typical filmy, a gang of 6 guys and 6 girls, and we were called the Omens. Why we were called the Omens, I have no clue. But then we were called. So, so this was that gang where you see on the right-hand corner on top, there were 6 guys and 6 girls, and we just, my whole life of engineering was, I think, just about them. And just hanging around together at the post office, or just hanging around and meeting and lunches, dropping them to the girls' hostels and getting them back from the girls' hostels. I mean, that is what probably we just did in the 4 years of engineering, I think. So these are some of the memories captured of all the things that we did during those 4 years. A lot of fun, a lot of relationships. And I think you transition from the innocence phase to the emotional phase. So probably the 3rd and 4th years we had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges in between. But then, yeah, I think we still hung around. We are still together in different parts of the world and places. These are some of the moments captured out there. There was this one event out there which is right on top with Sumana. I fortunately, I mean, there was a very clear distinction in college between engineers and architects. Architects were up there, engineers were right below. I mean, we were like nobody. So the architects were all the Shushas and the HEP and the happening people. But fortunately, as again, my surname, Mr. Pol, helps me to enter into the architecture department. And that entry helped me meet Vijaya. I think that was the start where I entered the architecture department, and then I met Vijaya, then I met Vivina, and then Chotu. I think these were the trio that I met first and became friends with. And that was one trip that the architecture department went, and I was just there as usual. And that thing that you're holding, I ate the whole stem of all the plantains. And that's the empty stand which is there. I just ended up eating all the bananas in that. Because I loved bananas. With bananas, I remember. I used to love bananas. And this brother of mine, apparently once I ate a banana and something got stuck. And he said, what happened? And I opened my mouth, there's a worm inside. He removes the worm and he stops eating banana after that. He said, I'm not eating banana ever again. This was the last day of college that we remember in terms of 4 years all done. These were the initial weddings just after college. I think Sue got married first and then Jagan got married. And that was one trip. I mean, for Jagan's trip, I remember, I think me and Uti were very brave. We landed up at Tirupati at about 2 in the morning. And we saw some light up there. And we said, oh, Tirupati is there, let's walk. Big deal. And we just started walking at about 2 or 3 in the morning. And the wedding was at 9 in the morning. And then we realized after reaching the right spot that was just the first hill. And we had to cross 6, 7 hills. And that was it. I think all our sins got washed away that day. there is a story in between engineering to this phase, and that's where mom comes. After, after finishing engineering, I think she was probably the only mother whom I recollect in some ways, while everybody else was hunting for a job, that they finished engineering and we need to get a job. And then this lady of mine says, you know what, to hell with the job, go travel. And she said, you'll never get these days back. I think that was probably the best thing she ever did. And until date it stays true that probably those were the best memories of my life. Because this lady at that point just decided to let me go on a journey of my own and said, come back whenever you want. There is no agenda. This is a journey that you will never forget, because once you start working, you will never get this chance to travel. And I took off. She had given me some cash. Those were traveler's checks in those days. So picked it up, and that was my probably the first solo trip at the age of 22, I guess. Yeah. And that was an age where there was no mobiles. So she just believed in the trust that, okay, this guy left Bangalore. I hope he reaches wherever he reaches and comes back safe home, because there was no way on earth she figured out where I would go and where I would land up. And I started the journey by going to, I think Pune, Mumbai, and then Ahmedabad. And that was a phenomenal journey, because that's where I met this whole bunch of cousins, a world of cousins. Why? Because till that day, I think I had, in my head, I had only 4 cousins. Anakaka's kids and my mom's sisters, I mean those 2 kids, and sisters 2 kids. I think I had just about 4 or 5 cousins. And here I had all these friends who used to talk about their functions and all that, and wonder, I mean, what a big family and cousins they have. And I have only 5 or 6 cousins. And then I get onto this trip, a journey of my life in some way. And I meet this whole gang of cousins. And I'm like blown away. And all these people are here. And they've traveled, and they've come. And I felt so goddamn good, because in that journey, for the first time, I felt like the eldest. Because out here in Bangalore, I was the youngest. And in that trip, I realized I was the eldest, and everybody was younger to me. These are the other moments recently which were captured. Okay, and the other part of that journey was one realization that this family of ours is extremely unique in some ways, because just being a Maharashtrian as the core, mom, dad being Maharashtrian, and then as we went along, we realized, man, I think we have everybody from every state in this family. This whole gang was a Gujarati gang. Hardcore Gujaratis. And I'll ask her to do her garba, because she's missing her garba big time. And then we had the Biharis. And then we had Bangaloreans. We had North Indians. We had Andhrites. I don't know. We went on with the list just a couple of days back, I think. I think we have everybody, probably just a few states missing. I think most of the country we got covered. So there is everybody from the country in this family. Internationally, my dad's brother got married to a German. So yeah, we have an international connection there as well. So she was a German woman. Oh yeah, now we have Spain. Yeah, so Spain as well. So there, that's a Spaniard. Yeah, this is Kavita and Manu, dad's eldest brother, who's 92. 92 now? Yeah. On the way, yeah. That's Kavita and Manu. And this is another set of cousins we met after a long, long time, just about 2 or 3 years back from my dad's side. So I realized I have a big family too. I'm not alone. This one of the most memorable trips of our lives. Me and Kumar taking off on, I think, whatever savings that we had, we started earning. And I think we blew up everything, because when I came back, my bank balance was 0. And I think those days we just went wild shopping. We went what, 15 days? We went 15 days, covered the whole of Rajasthan. Trip being aside, in terms of the fun and exploring the places and seeing places, we completed, I think, most of Rajasthan. I think one of the biggest learning lessons for me of understanding a relationship was probably what it is to spend time with somebody under one roof for 15 days. And people realize that after marriage. I realized very early. And that was one of the biggest learning curves, saying that, yeah, and which is what I tell Sarah sometimes. I mean, having friends is great. I mean, having a group of friends is always great. Because as a group of friends, you click, you have a lot of fun. But you know where the test of time comes? When you click one-on-one and you can handle that person through and through. For starting from morning to night for 1 week to 10 days to 15 days. I said I would dare, let's see if somebody can just go on a solo trip just with one friend. And then you realize that's probably a test of a very strong base somewhere, because you realize it's a different ball game altogether. As a group, you have a lot of fun. But on a one-on-one, it's a different learning. And I guess this trip did that to me, to understand that this one-on-one is very important. And I think throughout my journey, while I have this whole gang of friends, I think somewhere as a rule, I have managed to keep this one-on-one for this particular reason only. That relationship, that connection is very different from the group dynamics. It's always fun to have a group. So yeah, so those 15 days were fantastic. After that, we need to move out of our family and get time to do that again. But yeah, I would love to do that again. So that was a fun trip. Trio, 1993 onwards. This was a journey where Vijay had come to do an internship to Bangalore. And she was staying in Vasantnagar. And we were friends, mind you. We were friends, and she had come and she contacted me and said that, okay, I'm here, I'm working in Bangalore. She had a room in Vasantnagar. And the way it started was me and Kumar, whenever we went for movies in our bikes, in TVS 50, whatever he had that time, we used to pass Vasantnagar. And the only thing that time was to call up Vijay and say, we're going for a movie, coming? And she said, yeah. Only second show. No first show, nothing. Only second show. Because after work, we used to come and then decide go for a movie. And that's where our journey as a trio began. That's the first picture in Vasantnagar. And there, how we progressed. And here, fully fed, happy, well-to-do. Back then, yeah, this is probably the easiest way for me to capture our hangouts those days, because I don't think so we had the concept of malls or doing anything. It was just around the MG roads, the Plaza Theatre, the Imperials, and commercial streets and Brigade roads. That's about it. So, yeah, Russell Market. Russell Market was one memory with Dad. I mean, if I have to remember my childhood, if I have to go back now, there's so many things running. My memory of Dad as a child was basically going to Russell Market. He used to love, I think Dad's first love was Russell Market. Any day, Sunday comes, he would just go to Russell Market. So I used to go along with him to Russell Market for that. Go to Commercial Street for his antique shopping. He was crazy about antique shopping. So I used to hang around and keep going with him for antique shopping. And while I'm on the topic of the childhood in terms of Dad, the things of Mom that I remember in terms of the influence, if you have to call it that way, or the foundation of why I am in some ways what I have become, is her core of keeping friendship, her core of socializing. I mean, that was probably I learned from her, because, like I said, I used to just tag along. So wherever she went, I just went with her. So the whole concept of friendship and socializing comes from my mom. Most of you would know, but if some who don't know, the reason why I'm a shopaholic is because of my mom. Every time she went shopping, I used to go with her. I think the kida of shopping and having the patience to shop was because of Mom. And I can go hours and hours shopping. Some of the memories post that were captured at home at different stages with this gang of mine from college and the other people who came home. So these are some of the snaps. This was a point in time where, I can't say Manga, okay, Vinay. Vinay had shifted to Bangalore, and he was staying in Malaysia in one of the houses, and that became our adda of sorts. And we used to have these crazy wild parties, and the proof of that is that everybody just lost and not in their senses at all. So that was the phase where Vinay had come down to Bangalore and stayed with us. Famous places of Hassan, Hotel Abhiruchi, for anybody from Hassan, Abhiruchi was one standard joint. And there was a famous ice cream parlor called Sujata Ice Cream Parlor. Very famous for good reason, but we used to always land up there. Yeah. So these are some of the moments captured out there. My trips and catching up with people at different places, either Mumbai or Pune or Bangalore or wherever we went or when they came home. Sunil Kamath here. I think, yeah, this snap out here was one of the most memorable reels because Dad used to be the traveling kind. So he's like traveled and he used to just pack his bags and go. You come, you don't come. And Mom was the one who just stayed at home. This was one trip where somehow for some reason she agreed and then we went to Uti's house. And Dad was already there. And my dad was like shocked. I mean, how did this woman actually come out of the house? She never comes out of the house. And this was our slap, me, Anand, Uti and Mom. Yeah, these are different memories captured. Trips that we've been to together. Different places at different times. This was an Andaman Uti. This was specifically put by Vijaya. The so-called lovey-dovey shots of mine with my friends. Yeah. Then the journey starts with the sister-in-laws, where new relationships are formed, with Bhabhi and Sunita coming into the play, and new relationships, new meanings, new beginnings, and with that comes a next bundle of joys with the first niece and nephews, Adit and Nikita, and that's one of the shots of Adit following Raju whenever he came to Bangalore on his site visits. Wherever he went, Raju would take him on a bike, and he used to see all his sites, I guess. Yeah, they is just fun. Somewhere we have this very strong connect every time we meet. I think we all have this very pole gene. That's why we are the way we are. That's one thing I've constantly heard from Adit and Nikita. So this is here. Thanks. So this guy, he came in from college life and came a long way with us. This guy was probably the closest, if I were to put it in some ways, the closest of understanding what a soulmate is. He passed away in 2017, so he had a struggle for almost about 4 years. He was battling cancer. So 3 years of life was only for this chap. Throughout, and at probably that point, the way I understand and remember was there were 4 tracks happening at the Palantine. My own family, Dad was there taking care of Dad, getting on to work with my regular work in office, and then this guy. So this whole juggling of my 4 tracks was happening at the same time, and this guy was somebody who just, I don't know if anybody would do that, but he just let his life in my hands. And he said, you decide for me what you want me to do. And this journey of 3 years with him was probably the most memorable days. He had this unique strength of positivity like nobody's business. I mean, he battled cancer of a very rare kind, if I have to put it that way, because it was not a specific cancer. He went through almost 8 surgeries in 5 years. Every year there was a new place and a new surgery. So every year his hospitalizations, I used to be there. And it was like a given that nobody else from the family would, I go and stay with him. So his whole hospitalization, his whole journey was probably just with this dictate that I need you. And I don't know if anybody's ever done that. And he just surrendered his life to a point where I could just decide, and I say, Sudhir, I'm taking you here. And he would just say, just tell me where you want me to go, and let's get the treatment done. So we have gone across the country to see what best can be done. And to a point where I think I understood in some ways where this guy used to dictate his right for relationship. That's where I understood what is dictating a right. He was a friend, I mean, no doubt about that. But probably the meaning of dictating your relationship was probably understood by him, because he gave a damn what time I came home, what work was happening at work, what projects were happening, what was happening with my dad. He said, I just need you here. That's about it. I don't know why, I don't care. So he didn't want to even understand what is happening. He just said, I need you. So it used to be crazy calls. It used to be like 10 o'clock in the night he'll call him. And he used to stay in JP Nagar. And he said, just come now. I said, okay, done. I said, Vijay, I'm going. 10 o'clock leave. By the time I reach JP Nagar, it's like 10:45. And I reach there, he said, you know what? I'm too tired now. We'll talk tomorrow. And that's it. He just needed that 5 minutes to say, okay, you came, you saw me, and that's about it. He said, I'm too tired. Let's go. So I've seen him through that whole process of his treatment and chemotherapies and his fight to live and the dictate, which is what I keep in Sarah, that when you have this relationship of sort, this is the guy who taught me. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be anything. I said, dictate your right, and if you're being formal, you will be treated formally. When you dictate your right, you will be treated like family. This was one of the guys who's just probably just practiced it to no extent. He just gave it time. So these are many memories with him in terms of the journey of his life, in terms of somehow managed to pull him up and got him for trips. So these were the last couple of trips that we had with him. He was one hell of a guy, and probably one of the only guys who could get me crackling and laughing to a point where my stomach used to hurt. I mean, his sense of humor was amazing. I mean, he had this timing in the way he cracked stuff. And I used to just go gaga. And I don't know if I would have done that with anybody, but I think the last 3 years of his journey, we used to speak every day. Every day from my work back, every day we had to speak. Every Saturday I had to meet him. So for almost 2 years, I used to meet him on every Saturday to JP Nagar, and then I used to pick up Sarah from ballet and then take her also to pick me. And we used to spend time just for a couple of hours and get back home. So that's Sudhir. Yeah.
I actually haven't met Sudhir. All I have heard of Sudhir is only from you. And I think this hall of all old friends should stand up and give a standing ovation to you, Aju, for you stood by him in the most difficult of times, and you briefly told me, and it's difficult for me to express it back, that what you did for him. So I request everybody, at least this calls for a standing ovation to Aju.
Wow. Thank you. A take on which I keep sharing with Sarah, is one of those things that I say that I think I did that. What I did for him was because I was feeling happy doing what I was feeling for him. And I think that was one of my biggest takes, saying that, look, to Sarah, like, do what makes you happy. Because in all probabilities, if I had done it for Sudhir, I think I would have got tired. I would have got irritated. I would have got mad with him for all these wants and his demands, what he had. So I used to always tell people, I don't know if it was whether I said it was just because I wanted to do it for him. Because everybody is busy, agreed. But there was this hope. And I said, I guess he could have latched on to anybody else as well. And that's why you realize that people just need one hope. Can somebody give me that hope that I will live? So he just latched on to me. That's about it. This was probably the phase post that in terms of Carle. Carle was my first journey of my professional life. And very aptly put, the apparel industry starts. Next one. So this is 1995 and 2000. And the journey of Carle starts with Guddu's sister telling me that because how did this journey start? If I have to go back a little bit. Engineering, 4 years of engineering and mechanical, I have no freaking clue what I did. By the end of it, I had no interest in it, and I realized I was just not cut out for it. So I didn't bother getting a job in engineering or doing mechanical. Okay, then what next? That's when Peter Uncle comes, and he says, you know what, export imports is a big deal. You go and do a course on exports and imports. I said, fair enough, exports, imports. So started doing exports, imports. That's where probably the person who comes into play is Nakiran. So Nakiran had this factory of apparel, and my exposure started there where I go to a project there. And I fell in love with that industry. And I came back and decided, okay, in my head, okay, this is the place and this is what I want. And that's when my mom sends me for this 1.5 month trip, trying to figure out, is this exactly what I want? And after 1.5 months, I come back and say, yes, this is exactly what I want. And that's where the whole apparel industry journey starts for me. So thank you. My first interview, as usual, Kumar always there. We both go for that interview. He's sitting in the reception, and I meet my first boss, Mr. Ravi Shankar. So I meet him there, and he starts his interview by, if I remember right, sir, what will you do, or how will you go about making a business of selling dosas on Brigade Road? He didn't ask me what degree I did. He didn't ask me anything on mechanical engineering. And here I'm figuring out whatever little that I heard of heat transfer and nonsense, which I've probably forgotten. I said, what technical questions is going to ask me? And he ends up saying, how will you sell dosas on Brigade Road? I said, what's wrong with this man? In my own head. And that's how the interview went. I don't know what happened after that. And I still don't know why I got selected. But then I was selected. And that's where the journey starts there. So my initial days, when I started off was, he said, and the background, probably now I understand why. So he came from ISC. So he comes from a completely scientific approach of understanding things, because I guess that's how he worked and that's how his mind worked. I think it's the brilliance of that mind which set somewhere the foundation of my professional life, because he harassed me the first year of my life by sending me to do hands-on experience on every aspect of apparel manufacturing firsthand. In the sense, I still remember the first month I spent in the store. And I used to go to the store, and he said, and I used to go back and report to him in the evening. He said, what do you do? I said, I saw buttons, I saw zips, I saw poly bags, or something like that. And he said, what about it? I said, what about it? There are zips and buttons, that's about it. He said, try to figure out. And he used to go on digging and say, okay, find the zipper. Why does a zipper lock? How does the polybag work? What are the systems and mechanisms? How does a snap button happen? I mean, all the technicalities of the items that go into garment manufacturing. And that's where my foundation of getting into fundamentals and basics started, thanks to you. where you grilled me for that 1 year. He taught me of the whole process of learning how to stitch. So I had to stitch. He said, what do you do today? I said, I saw them stitching. He said, did you stitch? I said, no. He said, go back and stitch. Go sit on the assembly line, sit like a worker and stitch and do the same number of pieces that they hit in an hour. So I had to sit like a worker and actually do a production. So I had to learn stitching, I had to do cutting, I mean, every aspect of garment manufacturing for the first year. And I remember my first disappointment, which I came back and probably cribbed with Vijaya. She said, how much did you get salary? First month. I said, $600. He said, what? I said, yeah, I was $600. Then I go back and ask the man, $600? He said, yeah, for a year. This is not training, this is for a year. Your salary is going to be $600. And that's how we started this journey of my relationship with him. And this was this whole journey of meeting this whole gang of Carly, the 5 people or 5 or 6 people that we were along the whole process. And we had some fun times. And these two in the last corner were the Carle brothers, Sudarshan Carle and Mahindra Carle. And they were, I think, one of the best, fantastic bosses that we had, that after work, when we used to all gang up at the parking lot and decide where to go, and we had a strange favorite hangout of ours called Northwind in Sadashiv Nagar. And these bosses used to say, where are you going? And we said, Northwind. They said, okay, done, we'll also come. And they used to get sloshed along with us. So work was work. When they got out of the office, I mean, they were like a party mania. I mean, they were absolute fun. And then the journey of the Christmas party started. And till date, I don't think so. This is one group I ever have to call for Christmas. By default, they're just there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
And I'm very sorry I couldn't be from the whole event, but
I'll catch you.
thank you for being there for us.
Same here. Same here. Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
So the journey of this Christmas party starts back then. And since then, it's, I don't know what, Boni, 25 years, I don't know. Yeah, more than that. I mean, every Christmas party, they've just been there, by default. Next one. These were all the get-togethers at home, and as usual, mom was, so I guess again, I'll have to pitch in somewhere wherever these topics come, which will make sense to me. I think one of the most beautiful things about mom, or dad, if I have to put it that way, and what made our journey very comfortable and very easy, was I think they had this very unique ability of becoming friends with our friends. If that had not happened, I don't know if we could have really enjoyed the friendships that we had. Because every friend was probably more friends with mom and dad. And they give a damn whether we were at home or no. Uncle, auntie hai? Okay. Chai, pani, coffee, khana, everything was just there. Because mom and dad was to just be friends with them. Or even to the extent of when Raju's clients or anybody used to call, I think they were more friendly with mom. Because they used to find more of mom, and mom used to talk there. And I think one of the unique things which allowed us to go this path in some ways, I think to all 3 of us, is this unique ability of the way I have understood mom and dad was not being this judgmental of any sorts. And I think that is what probably helped the journey, because I don't think she judged in terms of whether I did well in studies or I had papers in my engineering. There was never a point in time where she said, what the hell are you trying to do? Academics is this, and academics is that, and your future, and the career. I think her baseline was simple. Are you happy? I think that's all matters. I mean, everything else goes to dogs. I mean, she didn't give a damn in terms of doing any comparison. And that, if I have to reflect back, was, I think, a big deal in making us who we are, because having Raju in the house was a big competition. Who he is, you are who you are, you figure out your shit, he figure out his shit, everybody figure out his shit. And it was very simple. So we figured out our journeys, went around, I think that set the base Erin Judge, if we drive. So I think those are the memories that I have where, I think this whole journey of relationships, friendships, accepting people for who they were was probably the foundation of Bombay. And there was a very unique thing that wherever we used to go, we used to sort of try and make it a point to take mom and go. Thank you. And there was this very unique incident, I think somewhere in this journey, in this part where me and Kumar and mom, we were coming back on the bikes, me and mom on a bike and Kumar on another bike. And we were getting back home. And I get this brilliant idea. I said, I talked to Kumar on the bike, on the two bikes. The conversation goes on between two bikes. Let's take mom to downtown. What's wrong with you? Taking out of pop. I said, let's take it out of the day. And then we deviated and then land up in downtown park. I said, where are you taking me into? I said, you just come with us and we just figure it out. I think we both were having, I don't know how many panic attacks or whatever, and we just decided let's do that. The only condition, mom, I said, when you go into the place, do what you want outside the pub. Don't slap me inside there. Because she had no clue where we're taking her. And then this short lady sweetly walks into the pub and there is smoke and there is music and there is billiards going on all over the place. And me and Kumar take this little lady into the pub and she says, oh, this is pub. I thought it was a Punjabi dhaba. I said, no. When we say pub, this is what is pub. And I said, no, whatever it is, outside the door, do what you want. Shout, scream, slap. And that lady turns around and says, okay, we have come here. Now, what do you guys have? And then we both ended up having a pitcher of beer or whatever, and she had a juice. And everybody out there just gaping and looking at this woman happily sitting with us and having a drink. So, yeah. Just before that. One step. Here, the lady in yellow, Rama, something different and something specific to call out. I don't know where. I mean, at some point, we connected, and I don't know how we connected, and for what reasons we connected. And that's Rama. And and probably she was one of the first persons in my journey of life where it was not about the pub, it was not about the general fun and this thing. It was generally conversations of a different kind. I don't know why and for what reasons, but we used to speak for hours and hours. And I used to go home. She used to take me home and we used to just sit and chat and chat and chat and chat. And she was one of the first persons in my life who taught me to handle statements which are bold and direct. There was no beating around the bush with her. I mean, she would just say the way things were to be told with no buffer system and not making it sound good at all. I mean, and maybe that was my foundation to understand and like. I think, you know what? It makes sense to be better this way. Just say what you feel like saying and not going all over the place. Yeah. Somewhere up there, Aruna comes in. Aruna was another colleague of mine from Carle, but became a close friend and now a very close family friend. And my memories of her have always been where she used to come home, pick me up from home, take me to office, drop me back home. And along the way, we used to have these singing sessions. We used to have antakshris on her scooty. She used to take me on a scooty. And this girl was one who knew that, I had this unique thing of making sisters. And one of my cousins had come home and during Raksha Bandhan, and we were tying Rakhi. And she said, why is Aruna not tying Rakhi to you? And that girl was offended. She said, I am not going to tie Rakhi to him. I don't want to tie Rakhi to this fellow. And then we've been great friends after that, till date. Satyu and Sanjay come along this journey where it was just during the Carle days. And I think one of the most memorable parties or journeys together have been there. And Satyu's place, one party, was one of the party of a lifetime, which I don't think we'll ever forget in our lives. then the kids from, as we grew, I mean, our kids happened and all the reunions and the get-together that we had when these kids were there. Now, anybody who's seen the home, our home right now, this was the first version of our home, probably the first day before we got married and entered the house also. I think that was the first bachelor's party that we had. It was just an empty shell. There was just nothing out there in the house. Go back. So version O, why? Because as of today, when we speak, today it's gone through the third version renovation, which is just about a month back. So we have a version 3.0 as well. Next. The journey of Shona. Shona, for people who don't know, that's Vijaya. So the journey with her starts from college. Like I said, with the entry into the architecture department. And, she was one of the persons that I found in the way I had imagined a friend to be, which was absolutely chilled out, somebody whom I can connect with, not having a baggage, just being the person who she was, and just absolute fun. I mean, that's where probably the connection started and where the bond started in terms of having this kind of friend, which probably was very filmy, but then there it became reality. So that's, and I don't know how much I can dwell on that, but our first meeting was on a dance. I was dancing with this friend of mine, Sumana, and then at some point she came in and said, okay, I will dance with you. And I think that's where I first met. And then what I realized later, many years after that, what I was trying to do then was not dance, it was just pure aerobics. I was on a high, and it was just aerobics that I was doing, which I thought it was dance, and then she matched to that. The phase of marriage. Marriage was one of those moments which was, how do I put it, an interesting phase of sorts, where we were friends till about 7 years of our lives. And I'll try to make this quick and fast, to a point where we were actually hunting for a boy for her to get married to. We were hunting for those ads in the papers, and me and she busy looking, okay, tick this, no, this guy is not good for you, and that guy is not good for you. And then that whole process happens in the process of hunting a boy for her. And she decides that, yeah, okay, she'll move on. And somewhere along the way, I think I realized, okay, I was in love now. Now what do we do? And I went back and told mom that this is what has happened. Then I went and told Raju about it. And then they asked, did you tell her? I said, no. And I go back the next day to tell her that, okay, now I'm interested thoroughly. And then she's on a trip and she says, no, I've decided to get married to this guy and we move on. I said, okay. And she said, okay, and I never told her what I want to tell her. And the next thing she says, okay, my whole marriage preparation, you're going to be there, you will do the whole arrangements. And I go for her wedding shopping and I buy saris and the gifts and the jewelry for her shopping to get married to somebody else. And things, there was a phase where the wedding got called off and suddenly my name came in and said, okay, why don't we get married? So whatever shopping we did for that wedding got used here. And that's where our journey starts. Well, one of the most important things what I learned probably in that, which again, as usual, to my dear Sarah, is this event was of sorts which probably demonstrated which the way my mom put it. She said, when you love somebody, just let them go. If they were meant to be, it'll come back. If it was not meant to be, they will still go. I mean, this was probably that phase which was very clear in some sort, saying that, look, I wanted to, but it didn't happen, so I let her go. And it was just meant to be. So we're just there. So in terms of journey, it was the friend whom I got married to, the partnership, absolute joy, absolute fun, in all probable manners, which I had to put it. In terms of how I would put it, I think at some point the thought was also that, was I worth her? Because she was like one bomb, if I had to put it that way. I mean, she was there. I mean, how could she even pick a guy like me? So that was the feeling that I had, that how could she was hot and happening. Okay, she's still hot and happening. Okay, let me put it that way. And for a very long time during that whole process, I mean, so she became a kind of an inspiration for whoever I am today. The version that you're seeing of me would, I don't know if that would be the version, because when I talk to Sarah, I tell her that, what if it was not her? The person that I was when I got married to her, to what I am today, the way I stand here today and dress up, or everything that I've seen in my life, was probably her experience coming into the play. Because for a long time, a majority of our journey together, she was probably earning much more than me every time. She traveled places, so I learned a lot in terms of from her experiences. And somewhere in that journey of us being together comes Anu, where she becomes this whole integral part of the process, because for her, Anu was everything. I mean, Anu this, Anu that. So there were a lot of these indirect influences into our lives without being directly connected. And I still remember the first time I got introduced to Anu. I mean, she came out of the cabin on MG Road. And she comes out and gives me this hug. And it was such a warm hug. And that dil se hug, if I had to put it that way, I still remember that way. And so you were always there. Not just, but in every way, every form, for everything. Anu Ronnie, Anu Ronnie, Anu Ronnie, Anu Ronnie. It was just, this is where it's happening. So she was a kind of a guiding force which indirectly came to us. Us as a couple, us as an individual. And this whole inspiration of the person she was in terms of her dedication, in terms of her focus, a lot of things that I've learned is all because of her. Be it travel, be it food, be it anything that was there which was unthinkable for me if it was not for her, was all there. So yeah, that's in the shortest possible way that I can put it for her. Mom and her donuts. I mean, these were the big deal of Christmas with mom and her goodies. So these are a lot of memories captured along the way with all our friends. So, Sanjay, okay. So yeah, this is another stint which came on after Carles, where I met Sanjay and Neil. And yeah, the rock star and the man who is just living life at its fullest, if I were to put it. There with them, I actually felt like a kid, because there were these big guys out there, completely professional. I mean, coming from the corporate world, and I was trying to learn the tricks, and they just took me on, and they just held on and made me or helped me through that whole journey of understanding corporate life. Or because they were in positions which were talking about business and transformation and the leads of that. So it was a good learning curve for me and a lot of fun times with them. This is the rock star. So that's Sanjay. That comes to the part where the whole extended family of her family comes. I mean, a whole big bunch of joy, happiness, fun, laughter is what I can put in the most simplest manner. A lot of grounding. A family just, if I had to put it away from home, it was just so similar to our life that it made it very easy and very seamlessly getting into the lives of all these people with Ma and Baba. Ma and Baba were like just a replica of my mom and dad. I mean, so it was very easy to gel into this family, and we had lots of fun times together. when I look at this, it's so similar. They were sisters in arms, my mom and mom-in-law. That's Shivu, Tinku Dada, Bodhi, Jaya, Debu, Shimon. Yeah. And then the extensions where Devu came into the play, and then Preeti came into the play, and it's always a fun time when we're all together, and it's like absolute madness. And somewhere along the journey, I guess, yeah, my connection with Shibu grew stronger probably in the last 1 year with all this chit-chatting that we have in Koramangala House. So somewhere he's that go-to person where, yeah, I just, there's somebody whom I say that, I keep saying, Sarah, if there's a giver, that's Shibu. In many ways. And the kids after that. There's this Philomena Amma was there, who I mentioned earlier was the daughter of the lady who took care of me. So she was there in Sarah's life through and through from the day one, if I had to put it. And for the same reason that I mentioned earlier, that her mom took care of me, so she would take care of Sarah. We lost her during COVID, the first phase. Shivkumar, the driver that we have, so he's been there for us like a rock solid wherever he is. I mean, he's been there for I don't know, 10, 15 years now. Yeah, so thanks to Shivkumar. So he's made our travel very easy. If these can speak, this is it. Yeah, she's joy. She's got the madness, she's got the innocence, she's got the love, she's got the empathy, she's got style. Huge amount of style. By mistake, she was born in India. She should have been in Paris or somewhere like that. Yeah, if these photos could speak, I mean, this is who she is to me. Yep. With Sarah coming along came another couple of families that came. They just took over our families, if I have to put it that way. Rachna, Raman, and Kimi, the guy who just met and left in a hurry. They just supported us and just became an integral part of the whole system. And it's like we can't live without them today. And for anything and everything, they just stand and are just there for us at every point in time. So we had some fantastic trips together. So thank you, guys. Journey with VF. So this is where my journey with VF in terms of denim starts. I came in from a functional background, and then here I had to learn SAP all over again in terms of an ERP. So this was my second transition from moving from an apparel industry and actually stopping that first life and getting into this technology line or ERP line, which I had no clue about. And there are probably two people who probably pushed me for it, because when I took a break from the apparel industry, and I was wondering what the hell to do next. And I had these huge conditions. And then Kumar and another friend, Vinay Manga. These are two people I reached out and said, there is something called SAP. They want me to join for some SAP, some you will learn WMS. I said, how do I learn WMS? He said, read the book. I said, you want me to read WMS by reading a book? She said, yep. And that's where I met Colin first time. And I don't remember much of it, but then I think it was very clear, very structured, happening, not happening, when, the do's, the don'ts, the timelines. And he was like, okay, Colin is there's no messing around with Colin. And that's where the journey with Colin starts. And then during that phase, even Pramod came into the play. He was a go-to guy for me in terms of any conversations on business. Next. Yeah, we had a big fire. Yep. Yep. This was a team that supported me through and through. That's Viren, Rajiva, Pavan, and Shushmita. They were my backbone, my core, or whatever. So all thanks to them that I am who I am in my journey in terms of where I am today is all thanks to them. Crazy projects, crazy deadlines. So thank you wherever you guys are there. So they would just do whatever we had to do for the business. Night, days, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it was. So thank you guys. Just go back one. Just go with the previous one. Yeah, so, just next one. Next. So here was another journey where Kanchan, whom I used to report to, so he was a big influence in terms of understanding this whole concept of leadership or helping me walk the path of leadership, because when I took on the role after Niragi had left, I had no clue what I was getting into, and he just said, you start the journey, we'll make it happen. So he stood by me like a strong support and helped me come to a point today. All these people, be it Colin or Krishna or Kanchan, all these people helped me in some point, some form, directly, indirectly, consciously, subconsciously, to become the person and stand here and speak what I speak, because if not for them, it would have been a very different exposure to me. And we had this crazy lunch sessions and everything that we used to have near the office. So we used to keep ganging up and going there. Next. These two people were quite interesting, which came in much later. Saurabh and Aditi. I don't know if Aditi is here. He's not reached, no. And Saurabh is in Hong Kong. So these two people were probably the latest or the newest friends I made, probably at the age of 43, 44. And why is it interesting? Is I realized how difficult it is actually to make friends at this age. One, because I think there's a lot of investment of time to make that friendship to come along. And then second, the bigger challenge what I faced was both these guys were way junior in terms of age. Probably about 10, 15 years junior also. 10 years. Anywhere between 8 to 10 years. So to connect to somebody of that level and their understanding was an extremely difficult job. And I had to go through a lot of kickbacks in the process of making my friendship into the world. And they accepting me as a friend was something that I owed to them, because it somewhere shook my fundamentals, if I had to put it, my foundation, because you understand the generation better. So somewhere understanding them in some ways to connect to somebody who's 10 to 15 years younger helped me understand how do I connect to Sarah as well. How do you go down to somebody's level and to understand where they come from. So so thanks to them. Hong Kong travel in the last couple of years was absolute fun. A lot of food, lot of friendships done. The guy right in the corner, probably he was the first friend I made in Hong Kong, Michael Shito. He meant the world to me out there whenever I traveled. He just take care of me. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of travel, a lot of shopping. So a lot of people are recipients of my VF and Carle sales from my day one till date, in terms of the van shoes, be it the jackets or anything. So everybody is a party to that. I think, they loved my VF more than me. Oh yeah, Kipling also was there, So that's the amount of shoes that I used to buy and take home for gifts. If you have to go back and show, it would be like crazy. And we had a strategy in office, me and all the gang in our department. So we used to go and just ransack all the sales and then go back to the conference room and then distribute. Who takes what? I think to a point that I think we were banned in entering the sales at some point. This is this darling. So this is Charu. Charu came into a point, I think when we just lost mom, and we were still trying to figure out on this journey of working with dad and understanding dad. And then this girl comes like a blessing into our house and just becomes us. Non-gene pool. Yep. Like all the ups and downs, she's been there and she's just been a part of the house. Yep. And that's Abhinav who comes into our lives later. and who comes as a breeze as well, with a bang. This is the trio of Vijay and friends. I mean, Vivina, Chotu, Suraj, Suman, Rupa. They just come in there. And for me, whenever I meet them, it's this serial of friends that I remember all the time. They're a bunch of absolute nonsense that you guys talk and do, and then dress up and come down to the first floor and have a party in the house. I just don't get that still. And they'll go tea, dressed up in shoes, and the makeup and everything, and they will come down to the hall and they'll sit and have a party there. Vivina became a part in many ways because then she became a family of sorts where she was always there for anything, talking, sharing, and just being there for a lot of our trips. And we traveled like crazy. And yeah, we had some good fun times, and we shall have more. Kudremukh gang, like I said earlier, they come in from an indirect source or indirect way, which what do you say, brings in a lot of happiness and joy with Kaushik, Shomankal, Auntie, Mitua. I mean, there's this sense of joy when I meet you guys, the interaction, just the sense of belonging, how to put it. The fact that you reach out and ask gives you that right that, you know, we had to take care at some point in time, and it just makes us feel so good about it. So thank you for being a part of our lives. Ravi Kiran comes from a very different connection. I don't know how, but I just connect. I mean, it just absolutely pure joy and happiness. Some of the trips that we went to. Yeah, so this is Anu and Ronnie's part, which I mentioned earlier. So you're always there. Raju's and Sanju's friends. I mean, whenever I meet them, I mean, they inspire me. I'm jealous of him sometimes, if I had to put it. I mean, I always looked up to them. I mean, they were always there. And they've seen me probably from the first days. I mean, through everything that we have been through as a family, I mean, they have always been there at every step, being there, I think like a go-to for anything that we needed in our lives. Through Dad's journey especially, I mean, for just being there so unconditionally, I mean, it's just so inspiring to see you guys. That hats off to you chaps. Thank you. For our health and our wealth, of course. So we have a doctor, Dr. Bhatt. So he's been a part of our lives, I think, for the last 20, 25 years, and probably kept us healthy and going as long as we are there. So he's an Ayurvedic doctor that we go to, I think, from mom's time. So he's just always been there. And then, of course, the young, dashing, dynamic Mr. Chetan out there. So once more, you are the finance guy. All the money I have to get from you now. So he's been handling our financials from, what, I don't know, 2015? 18 years. And we are probably his first clients. So he's been an integral part of the whole process where he's sorted us. And the reason I say he sorted us and made sure that we have something to survive, if not, I think we and Vijay would have just blown all the money in our shopping and our travel and our partying. I think that's all we hit off in terms of, we have everything unique going for us that I've always said. I think it's very difficult to get a combination like the two of us. I think we have everything going right from what we like to our socializing, for she being the part of this family and accepting the family and just gelling with my brothers or mom or dad or my friends, with anybody. I mean, it became so easy. And this whole crazy quirkiness that we have of just spending money like nobody's business. So Chetan kinds of puts us in track that we give him the money and he doesn't give it back to us. Our money, giving him, no. You don't get the money back. So yeah, thanks to you. So yeah, so that's in more or less a journey of what I have been through in the 50 years. And I said I have tried to the best of my capabilities to recollect the process. A very interesting 4 weeks of trying to capitalize or capture all these people in 50 years in 1 hour. I mean, that was, my head used to go reeling because there's so many memories, so many stories, so many photographs, that there's no end to these memories. Now I see Santosh. Now Santosh out there, put your raise. He was my buddy in Carle from all my lunch outings. Most importantly, the guy who taught me his car. My car driving starts from him. And we also had a Bang. And he fortunately had a Dolphin. And Dolphin was built very strong. So it did nothing to us. So yeah, he managed to break his nose. So in nutshell, fantastic journey, fabulous life. And like I'd shared earlier also to most of you, I think one of the reasons for having this event was only to celebrate you. It was not an event for birthday. It was just to be thankful, to be grateful for each one of you who are here. Everybody completes me in some form, at some phase, for reasons which I have not known. Maybe destiny, maybe planned, conscious, subconscious. People who are here, people who are not out here. I mean, everybody means a world to me. And sometimes the way I explain to Sarah is that, yeah, family is important. But then along with the family came all these people. So when I look at the family, okay, there is a set of family. But then there is a majority of you who are just there. I mean, everything that you've done, everything that I have been through, somewhere you have seen or been a witness to that journey of my life. So I said, why don't we create a occasion where in flesh and blood, we meet, we talk, we share. And I say thank you to all of you for making this life wonderful. And maybe that's the reason I was forced and I couldn't control myself to a point where I had to celebrate this day, just with all of you, to capture this moment. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And this was a big day for me to have my daughter see all of you, because she needed, it was very important for me that this girl of mine should meet all you people who mattered in her papa's life through this whole 50 years. So it's important that you see them and you know who these people are. So thank you. Thank you all for making it from wherever. And it means the world to me for being a part of my life, my journey, and making it so, so, so beautiful. And maybe another decade, another 60, another catch-up. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everyone, thank you for being here. I won't say any more words or anything like that. The bar is open, lunch is served, so let's all have a ball and continue the afternoon. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Check. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
1 minute, Ajju. On behalf of everyone present here, your extended family, I take this opportunity to thank you to bring us all together. The takeaway is the gratitude you have in your life. Me being older, but I never thought this way. I'm so sure all of us have attended so many birthday parties, but this has been something very different and very awesome. Thank you so much for it. Thank you.
Hello, Ajay. Hey, Paul. It was an amazing journey. I never expected this for a birthday, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole journey, and I think I am very privileged to be part of your journey. Thank you. And yeah, we all are, I guess. Huh? Why did you hire me? Oh, you are curious why I hired? Okay. I had moved from science to garment industry for whatever reason. I wanted to bring a lot of engineering mind to the garment manufacturing, which was not there. So that's the time I was hiring engineers. I had asked him a few questions about perspective. He answered. And one of the reasons why I shoot such questions is how he deals with it. Because we used to deal with a lot of buyers and nasty production new people, etc. So even buyers were very nasty. So I would just ask, and here the man who stayed cool all the time. Because when he sat there, he was absolutely cool. When I actually pushed him into such, actually patiently answered actually. And it was good. He was not losing cool at all. Then I looked at his CV once more and say, October 2nd, maybe. And after that, we have celebrated his birthday for many, many times, yeah. He was very good. Yes, one thing I tell you, he had that patience, okay? Enormous patience, which I'm surprised. I'm really surprised, and I've learned a lot from him actually through his journey. And today I learned many more things. And I also want to tell you, it's worthy of being published, whatever you spoke, okay? Because many of us have dreamed, at least I have dreamt, but I have not been able to lead this life. Okay? It will only be a dream. I think you should publish this. Thank you.
Hello. For everybody, this is my dad's eldest brother, Anna Kaka. He's 92. 92, going strong, an absolute inspiration.
Yeah. Please, you can sit down. So I'll be also comfortable. First of all, as the senior member of the family, I thank each and every one of you who made it a point to be here, to celebrate Aju's birthday. I start with a wonderful thing. When you arc in our hands, it is better to be late than never. We were a little bit late, but we have come. We have come. And there are many things in life. I personally feel this one, for me, has done great thing in his life. For me, he is a great person. And there are many things in life. Now, at the time of Dasra, there is preparation going for Dasra. the tuskers are fed 70 kg of different types of vegetables and all those things to carry the Maharaja of Mysore. He is born a great person. Some are born great. But you see another man, long, long ago, sitting on a donkey, king of the Jews. So much of difference. Some people are born great. Some people make others great. Some people, others make them great. Some people make themselves great because of discrimination, because nobody is there to help them. They do everything on their own, and they become great. I remember a man from Bangalore, 58 years of age, climbed Mount Everest. Nobody to help. Did everything on his own and climbed Mount Everest. He became great. Now in the case, I turn back the pages of history. I was in Nigeria for only 21 years, almost 1/4 of my life. After 18 months, I would come back, be in Bangalore, stay with my junior brother and his children. They were small, they were in schools. And then move back to Nigeria. So I go back. In my junior brother's house, these were small children, school going. Aju was very much fond of his mother. Mother was also, he was the darling of the family. And then we could see so many things, changes in his life as he grew. The way he has come up in life. I think of the most wonderful or king of the sports is cricket. And life is a bigger game than cricket, so much uncertain. We don't know, anything can happen anytime. So in this game of life, the game of cricket, I consider Aju not like Kohli or something. This ball sixer, next ball pavilion. In case of Aju, he played well. He did everything as a cricketer, he was not caught by anyone. He was never stumped. He was never bowled. There was a chance when once he was about to get run out. When they forced him to marry, he was about to get run out. But luckily, nothing happened. So, at the first stage, after his completing the course in the college, we found that he started his work at a place with textiles, and then he had Hong Kong as his head office. And he continued to work. After some years, we found that he was not alone. He lost his mother about 7-8 years back. Lost his father about 5 months back. But a fighter, that is the specialty of our family members. We are all fighters. Fighters will never give up. Anything happens, we'll continue to fight and fight till we get what we want. After continuing, the greatest thing that happened to him was his marriage. He is not great by himself. The greatest part is played by his wife and his daughter. Wife working with Time magazine. Afterwards, she left the job. When something happened at her own home, and she had enough time to contribute, and the daughter, so much of attachment, it was a force. And these three people became a team by themselves. In the last 10 years, the things he has achieved, we can't believe. And he continues to do this thing. But this team of three people is a great, we must congratulate them, thank them for what they are doing in life. We must, 100 times I thank his wife, and the daughter also is a good artist. Art, it is our family tradition. My junior brother has done a lot for her. Now, what I personally think is 50, not out, not run out. Still, he has a way to go. And I pray that God will be with us. All of us are our prayers. And those who worked with him, his friends, well-wishers, all our prayers are with him. He should at least come to 70, 80, 90, not out. I thank you once again for listening to what little things I had to say. Thank you very much.
Everyone, like I said earlier, the bar is open, lunch is served outside, so enjoy everyone, click some pictures, and for next time we meet again, we'll have more memories to share. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.